Welcome to Technically Short.
I didn't know you were gonna yell. Fine. Yeah. I've been wanting to intro these with I think I told you some funny quip about how this podcast is technically short.
I think it's a genius idea. When I heard of this, Thomas's mind works so wonderfully. Like the way he put Technically Short, because my last name is Short, and he's tech guy. If you don't know, so
Thomas Edward Carney.
Genius, right? The way he broke it down and fused those words together, insane. And he thought of this quick.
Yeah, I think I think the quip it was I think the one I said to my dad today was the amount of time that it takes to get through the Squirrel Hill Tunnel during rush hour. Compared to that time, our podcast is technically short.
That's fair, because rush hour traffic, sometimes you'd be in there for an hour for sure. Sometimes even 2 hours. That's really bad. Car accident.
But yeah. I don't know what you're even saying now. But no, today we went, Sean and I, we went to talk about, we kind of touched on it last week about how, when Sean moved in and how he moved in and the experience that was. But really awesome. Mainly with my perspective last week, I don't think Sean ever gave any of his, so we'll start, but we wanted to kind of expand on how we've grown each other during the time that we've lived together, and not just in but by living together, by how different we are, how different our minds work, and how we've helped each other in faith as brothers in Christ. So yeah, Sean, whenever I'll let you start off back from the beginning. What were your impressions whenever you first initially were telling people you were going to live here?
Oh man, I was honestly excited. The way it happened is, we were just a group of us were together, and my apartment lease was getting ready to end, and Thomas made a joke about hey, I got an extra room. I was like, oh really? I was like, and what we were doing is we were having a Bible study, so we were able to just honestly just dive in deep into God's word. So as we were diving in deep into God's word and just hanging out, brother camaraderie, and we literally just made a joke. Thomas made a joke hey, I got an extra room. I wish somebody would live in here. These bills are high or whatever. He made some type of joke. And I was like, oh shoot, well that's crazy because my lease is over. Are you serious about this? So yeah, me and Thomas talked about it. We had a little drive after a movie. We talked a little longer. We're like, oh, okay, let's try this out. And honestly, through Thomas's leadership and his great qualities of wisdom, I've definitely grown much. And I think he has definitely grown much too. And it's just iron sharpens iron. So his knowledge has literally brought me to see where my areas where I need to work in my life are. Mm-hmm. And I get to see his strength. And I'm trying to use some of his strength and to build off of that. Oh, okay. So I know that Thomas is very good at planning. I know Thomas is very good at finances. It's all right, these are my weakest areas. So as roommates, it works out great. Honestly, that's my weakest areas. It's spiritual strength. Sean, ding, great. Wisdom, he's got that. Finances, no finances. Check again. Planning. Oh, nope, no planning. Spontaneous, living off of whatever God just throws at me, that's my life. But there is wisdom in planning, and there is wisdom in learning what to do with your finances. So as growing with Thomas, I'm learning that things that my mind thinks of is not always right. So it's it's time to position myself into a correct manner. Oh, Thomas, you can go now.
Okay. I was Sean, I was barely holding it together when you were saying you were talking yeah, he made this joke about this, And then we talked about it, and you made it sound like it was such a quick thing, but really, and that was like a month in between those two things.
Was it?
It was a long time. It felt like a month, but I was like, I'm not trying. And I was like, it was like, you were like telling people we were gonna live together before we talked about it.
I thought we talked about it. To me, it sounded like it was an official deal.
Yeah, see? Our minds are different. but like the, I don't know, I did like what you said about like iron sharpening iron, because like our different personalities, like even though like sure you're not like great with your finances, and like it's not a secret, but
yeah, that's a fact.
But like and like with planning, I think you're like I think you've grown in that area a little bit, but I think like I think like however I do like, I think for me like seeing how strong you are in your faith, and the fact that spiritual strength, I got that. Like the fact that that, like, and like people can see it, and people like I've seen people acknowledge it in you, and then living with that, like sometimes it can feel like it's not, but sometimes for me I'm like, man, is that real right now? Because for me to have that kind of faith, sometimes it's like I have to feel like I almost have to force it. And I'm not saying that to be like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like,
no, I think that's good, because honestly, like faith, I don't think we force it, but I think it's definitely a choice.
Yeah.
So it's like you're facing everything in your life. Everything is not going good. And then it's only faith when we make it a choice to say, okay, everything is not going good in my life. What can I do to make it? And you know what? You come to a realization is, like, honestly, there's nothing I can do to make it. So then you just have to full on rely on God.
Yeah.
And when you do that, He comes through. He really does. And I would tell anybody who's listening, and the future listeners, honestly, just keep the faith. There's times in life where everything's not going to go smooth as butter. There's times where it's going to be very hard, and it's going to be the worst thing that ever happens to you. Don't lose who God is in the moment, because faith is not a feeling, it's a choice.
I think like all this conversation it reminded me of Romans 10 verses 14 to 15. It says, "How then can they call on the one that they have not believed in?" And that he's currently talking about like how others can he's talking about how like people spread the faith, spread the word of God, and spreading it across the nations. And he's prefacing it with, how can the people that do not know have faith in something that they have no clue about? And so he's like, he's saying, how then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can anyone preach unless they are sent? As is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who... Okay, to be honest, that's not the one I was actually thinking of.
No worries.
But I was thinking...
Were you thinking of Fight the Good Faith?
No, I was thinking of... I can't find it. I'm not going to right now dig through it. But I was actually thinking... Oh, I still there's still a great verse. But I was actually thinking of... for who hopes for what they see. People,
I know exactly.
And like people hope for what they do not see, and that's what faith is. Faith is hope in the unseen, and like that's kind of what you were talking about a little bit. It's like faith isn't just something, like you said. Faith isn't something you force. Faith isn't something that you should have to force.
Yeah.
Because if you have to force it, then it's not faith. And I say like it's with me, like whenever I like said like I feel like I have to force it to be at the extent the extent that you have it sometimes. Like, and I think I'm going to speak for other people too. Like, it can feel discouraging sometimes, but just by being around it all the time, being around it as much as I am around you, and then being at church, being surrounded by other people that amplify, like, it bolsters my faith and builds it up, so I can have that faith that part of me felt like I couldn't have before. And so, like, that's, like, for me, that's what I'm getting a lot from you, is, like, being able to see, like, this is what, like, really, really strong faith is like, and I think there's always room for improvement for everybody. There's always room for growth. There's always room. There's never a ceiling. The only ceiling we put the ceiling on ourselves.
Right.
So, like, the only ceiling that is there is one that we put on ourselves. So, like, if you see other people somebody that has faith, and either you want to know what faith is, or you don't, like, or you want to grow your faith, like, the best way to do that is being around those people who have the faith that you want to have.
Oh, that's deep.
And, like, I honestly lucked out, because even though we are extremely different, and I feel like sometimes, well, not sometimes, we disagree a lot. Like, I think it's good, because if you're constantly around people that you always agree with, you're never going to grow.
I agree 100%.
And that's, like, not so much of the world. That's like and sometimes, like, those places are nice. That's like chat rooms and, like, subreddits. Like, they're all based around, like, some subreddits are all based around a particular opinion, which can get extremely toxic extremely fast.
Absolutely.
And nobody realizes it, because everybody's agreeing with everyone else that they see in their bubble.
Honestly, that's how bullying happens a lot of times.
Yeah.
People just agreeing when they know they normally wouldn't have agreed, but they just have... Nobody wants to be bold, and that's what's wrong with this generation. There's a lot of people who just follow on... Nowadays, people don't even believe in a lot of things the same. They just are scared to say what they believe in, so they just follow what other people believe in, which is dangerous. Because if you're not believing the same thing somebody else is believing, and you're not bold enough to tell that person, and you're just following somebody, and you're following into destruction. But see, and you won't even be bold enough to tell people. And that's what society is doing lately. Like, it's sad. Because, like, when the kid's getting bullied, 9 out of 10 times, nobody's agreeing with the bully.
Yeah.
They're just too scared to be bold enough to say, hey, what you're doing is wrong, it's not funny. Instead, they laugh nervously. Some of them are laughing at enjoyment or for entertainment, but they're just feeding into this guy's position in life, knowing that his position is wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we don't push it back against the enemy enough.
Right.
We, like, and that, like, specifically for those that aren't Christians or people of faith, like, when I say the enemy, I'm not talking, like, saying that bully is specifically the enemy. I'm saying, like, the devil, like the devil that is, and the evil things, the evil ways, and we as people, as human beings, as imperfect beings, we do not do enough to a lot of the time to push back against these things.
Yeah, I agree.
And, like, that's why I think, like with bullying, I think, like, things like, and that just as an example, like, people, like, don't, like, the issue there is, like, people don't talk about how to fight back against bullies. People, like, in that setting, in that general setting, people don't talk to the kids in high school.
Yeah.
How do you fight against a bully? They teach them how to overcome the trauma after they're bullied.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about how to prevent it in the first place. And then the trauma control, it wouldn't be needed.
Exactly.
But it is, because the priorities are messed up. But no, that's a good conversation.
Honestly, I love it, because I mean, people are more bold in life. I think a lot of damage the world happens would be lessened for sure. So people would be bullied less because if everybody was honest, when some bully said something mean, they'd be like, "Hey, that's mean. Don't say that again." Most people would. Because, I mean, it's not like we live in, like, Gotham City or some place where everybody is a bad person. Like, majority of people try to do good morals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they try to do
well,
right.
I think majority of people believe that they're doing good.
Right.
I don't think, but I don't know if I would say not to be like a cynic or like to be a like but like I think everybody, but everything that everybody does are doing because they believe that it's good.
Right.
And they believe it, and for one way or another.
Right. The bad guys always think that they're the hero. I've heard that before.
And like the I think like I also think like everybody at their core understands good and evil, because it's written in like in the Bible. It's written on our soul.
Hearts.
Yeah, it's written on our hearts.
Yeah.
And it's written on our hearts what good is, what bad is, what sin is.
Right.
And like, but like we're born with that innate understanding, but then the word comes into play, and the world comes into play, and it distorts it. It distorts the understanding of what good and evil is. Because there can be, you can sit people in a room of all these different opinions, and ask them a ask them a question about something extremely controversial. Well, not even extremely controversial. Something extremely basic. Like, is it like, I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, but we'll run with it. For the kid being bullied example.
Yeah.
Everybody in that room would say, yeah, that's wrong.
Right.
That kid shouldn't be bullied. But there might be that one, you think, but there also might be that one person be like, yeah, that kid deserved it.
Yeah.
You don't know.
There's some kid who would probably say that.
So like, but like, I would say the majority, I think you're right, so roundabout way to say it, but yeah, I would say the roundabout way, majority of people, in their core, know the difference between good and bad,
right,
and act on it in a way that most of the time that is influenced by their opinions, though.
Oh, I agree.
Instead of influenced by facts, it's influenced by God. It's influenced by opinion. So like that's where everything starts to deviate when we start including our own imperfections into what the facts really are.
Oh, that's good. Like, I honestly think that when people think their opinion outweighs the good or bad, is where the bad starts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, honestly, because what you said earlier about putting your imperfections into the perfection is genius. Like, that is, like, honestly what happens. Like, honestly, people who think that my opinion outweighs God's law is what changes people to make it corrupt. And I honestly agree 100%. Like, and the law is written on our hearts, so good and evil, for people who don't know God. That's what we're talking about.
And we should even say, like, on here right now, like, we're imperfect.
You're right.
So like some of the things we say are going to be imperfectly said.
Oh, easily.
So
easily.
Like,
I'm never speaking perfect.
So like it's gonna.
But I speak facts.
You just completely contradicted yourself. I understand what you meant, though. I speak imperfectly, but I'm always right. Like, no, I don't think that's how that works. But no, we got way off topic, but I think it was a really good topic to go off of.
Absolutely.
But no, I don't know. I think like trying to reel back to like us living together, and like I don't know, people I want to ask you this. Oh, this will be fun.
Let's go.
I'm gonna ask you first, and then you ask me, because I've been talking a lot.
No worries.
But when people ask you, like, even currently, like, how's Thomas as a roommate?
Yes. I mean, I always got that. And I always tell him that Thomas is a dope roommate. Simple as that.
I didn't say that to get like a pat on the back or anything. I was just curious.
Yeah, I get that a lot. They ask me, like, whoa, you guys live together? How's Thomas a roommate? Pastor Ed, everybody's asked me that before. How's Thomas as a roommate? It's like, Thomas as a roommate is great. Thomas is a better roommate than me.
No, people ask me like how Sean has a roommate, especially like I forget who, my dad even asked me. Everything that popped up in my head because my dad asked me today, and it's not the first time he's asked me that. But not for any reason. I think he just forgets my answer. But no, like I always say, like yeah, he's a great roommate. Like I did think whenever you moved in that you were some sort of minimalist. Whenever I called you, when I called you on the phone, you're like, yeah, everything I own fit in my car. I'm like, wait. Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, he must be some sort of minimalist or something. Okay, I'm fine with whatever. But like, no, you just threw your bed away.
Yeah, I do like to be somewhat of a minimalist though. Like, so if I get like 6 pairs of shoes, I'll throw away 6 to the homeless. Not actually like throw away people who are listening. But yeah,
I feel like you have like 10 pairs of shoes.
I do. I do have 10 pairs of shoes. But I did give like 10 away, so that's fair.
So you had 20 pairs of shoes?
Yes. I was trying to simplify. Yeah, I gave.
Yeah, minimalism.
Yeah, I gave a lot of them away. Some of them were kind of old.
Yeah.
Some were new, but just got some more Yeezys and Jordans. Didn't pay for them. God gave them to me. Courtesy. Shout outs to the people God sends. Always awesome.
Oh man. I don't know. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. What is your top 10 Bible heroes?
Top 10?
We'll get to 5. Make it quick. 5 is better.
Dude, I'll be honest. The majority of books I read are from Paul. So
That's still good.
So like Paul is like I don't know. I like out of anybody that like besides Paul, David, Moses, like the big guys, the big ones. Those are the big ones I know because that's one pretty much everybody knows. But like, because there's still plenty of books in the Bible I have not read at all yet. I hear people talking like, "What's your favorite book in the Bible?" I'm like, "The one I'm reading right now."
I mean, hey, you're at least reading, so that's a good thing. There's no bad thing to read the Bible.
Yeah, and I read purposely slow because I don't want to try to speed read the Bible. I want to try to get as much out of it as I can. Soon I'm going to be doing Philippians.
Philippians is good. I got it right here.
Nice. He pointed to his heart.
Yeah. Philippians 4:13.
How sweet. I actually honestly love the book of Philippians. It got me through a time of like I say it as in God, the word of God, but whatever. Like
I know what you meant.
Like because it has a lot about dealing with anxiety, and even not a lot, but even like has like a couple verses of like don't be anxious. Give these if it's not of if your thoughts aren't of like isn't
of God, pretty much taking on their activity.
It's like one. Yeah, it's like if it's not of love, if it's not of what's another one? I can't think of. I feel like I'm on the spot, but I'm not.
I know you're pretty much on it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, if it and other people probably can rattle it off, but it's okay. I used to know that by heart. I need to memorize it.
It's like take
again.
every thought of captivity that is pretty much not of God in the simpler version.
Yeah, I think it's like whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is like praiseworthy. It's not in disorder, but it's like it pretty much saying like whatever. If your thoughts are not of this, or thoughts are not like this, they're not of God. Therefore, they're not from God. Therefore, you can give them to God and flip them around so they can be of God. and that sounded very confusing as it came out of my mouth, but it makes
No,
sense.
I
But
totally-
like,
I totally
I think some people will understand it. But like, but yeah, I think like that's a good verse. But like, so I think we have about 5 minutes left in the episode. I think like we definitely jumped around a lot, and that's probably going to be a lot of these episodes, at least early on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, I honestly really like this conversation. I really like this. I hope you guys liked it too.
Same.
I kind of want to. I want to start ending off the episodes with some fun,
Happy.
conversation
I love
that
it.
Sean and I, maybe a debate.
I love it.
This one's for Pastor Ed. So Sean, we already had a conversation about this a couple of times, and they've lasted at least 30 minutes. So we only have the less than 5.
Fair.
So don't speak all your mind.
Okay.
But
We'll time.
is an air mattress comparable to a regular, let's say just a regular box spring?
Yeah, I would say it's comparable, and I would say it's not durable. So, an air mattress to me is only good enough.
So, like, I'm gonna put this out here
Yeah.
for the people first, so understand the context behind this. I understand like your basis is like, yes, they are comparable because you sleep on both of them.
Right.
My thing is that they're not comparable at all because even though you sleep on both of them, they're made for different purposes. Of like, one is made for like sleeping on for like a night or maybe a week when you go camping. Well, versus the box spring is made for like years, and so like one is less durable, but because it's as durable as it needs to be for the purpose it was made for.
See, if it's less durable, then it's not as good. So we're saying the air mattress, even if it was like its purpose is for people to sleep on, right? So if you can only sleep on it once a week or once every year or every time your friends and sleep can only come over and you have a sleepover and you bring out your air mattress and like 3 times and then there's holes in it and it's done, you got to get a new air mattress. Or let's just say I'll give it 2 years. It lasts 2 years. You only take it out when you can't.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing, though. Like
good.
an air mattress, like the thing that you're not supposed to sleep on an air mattress for 2 years. That's that defeats the whole. Like that's not what
Why? The whole purpose is so you can sleep on it.
It's literally a temporary mattress.
If it's temporary, then it's not a good mattress. And we're comparing mattresses, then it's just not durable.
But comparing mattresses, but also comparing separate products.
Yes.
The products are made for separate purposes. One is meant for long-term sleep. One's meant for short-term sleep.
Yeah,
and like you wouldn't, but you can't take a regular mattress camping.
I mean, you could.
It would suck to pack.
No.
If you wanna pack compact, you want to take it like you want to.
They got foam mattresses, which would be better than
you
air
you cannot
mattresses.
easily pack up a like memory foam mattress.
Yeah, they come to
Those
the
things
box.
are heavy.
It literally, I go
Those
to the
are
box.
heavy. Have you tried?
Yeah, I used to have one on my bed.
Like
you literally
like a full.
Yeah, and like a full queen, full king, full all that. They come inside this little box,
dense,
and then soon the air hits it, they get big, and then you can put them back. So what if you just fold it in the back into the box and take it back? It wouldn't be that bad. Way better idea than air mattresses. Air mattresses.
Never take your memory foam mattress camping.
It would be great.
That would be it would be good for when you're there, but suck to bring there and back.
It would be wonderful. Just make sure you have a.
It would be such a bad idea.
SUV or
just make sure you have
truck or heck, even if you have your back seat of your car cleaned out, it should fit. It should be fine.
That would be bad. I can just imagine.
It wouldn't be that bad.
No, that would be bad.
I did a queen size mattress, so good. It was
like you wouldn't be able to see out your back rear view window.
Yeah, it would. I think it'd be fine. Easily just put the trunk down. I had it in my backseat of. I had an Optima car, so 2014 Optima car, and honestly, it fit there. So I think you guys are good. What you need to do is get real mattresses. Don't get air mattresses. Air mattresses are
don't
not
get an
durable.
air mattress for a regular use. But if you're taking it camping, you're taking it camping. You just have it for like a friend's day for one night. That's what it's for.
Yeah, but then it's not durable.
But
If
where
it can
we-
only
you don't keep-
survive
Do you
when
want something
friends are
compa-
coming over
But
and when you're at
So,
camping,
Sean,
it's not
You got
good.
30 Okay, well, we only have 30 seconds left. I'm just going to end it with this and say... 1 second. I'm getting my phone unlocked so I can stop it when I need to. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, we're over 30 minutes already. Whatever. But would you rather have a full mattress that you have to like something that you use extremely temporarily, take up a lot of, and that thing now takes up a lot of space,
Yeah.
versus something that's like a size of a duffel bag you can just toss in a closet?
Yeah, absolutely would. Because if it's more comfortable, you're gonna enjoy it better.
See, this is where we differ. This is why Sean can't be a minimalist.
That's fair. I gotta be more comfortable.
Air mattresses are like extremely comfortable.
They're okay.
Depending, you have to get a good one, but.
You might wake up and be on the floor when it was like 6 feet high when you started.
Yeah, if you have one that is damaged, if I have one that is damaged, like the valve's broken or something, that does happen. But I like this.
It's a nice setting. I almost thought it was our setting at first. I was like, what?
We're looking at our TV. It kind of just switched videos, but we have a timer set anyway. It doesn't matter. But but no. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like this is a good end for the episode, even though I don't think we're ever going to come to an actual conclusion to this conversation.
No, not at all.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and the conversation. If you stayed for the whole 31 and a half minutes, thank you. That's pretty cool.
We love you guys.
But I honestly hope you got something really good out of this.
Buy Thomas a coffee.
Buy us both. Buy me a coffee. Buy him a sugar drink. But
yeah.
Okay. But all right, guys. We'll talk to you later. All right.